What's up, guys? It's Gothiccornila Sam, and today we continue on our Asagao Academy journey, so let's do it. I was both dreading and anticipating running into Gerard after that. Dreading because I didn't want to see him try and avoid me, or turn away in shame. Then I would know he made a mistake. But anticipating because there was the only thing I wanted now, an explanation. But after that day, Gerard stopped coming to the cafeteria for lunch. Nobody knew why, and nobody was particularly concerned. Sometimes Gerard just gets an idea to do something. He doesn't stop until it's done. How do you think he became such a legendary completionist? It was fine for them, but I wasn't satisfied. Not at all. It was that dissatisfaction that led me to standing in front of Gerard's door, hands twisting into my skirt. I'm just checking on him, just to be sure. I raised a trembling hand to the door and knocked. In the past, every time I knocked on Gerard's door, it flew open within seconds, Gerard's smiling face behind it. This time it didn't happen. Gerard. I knocked again. Was he really not there? Where else could he be? But this time I heard a rustling behind his door. Hana, is that you? Yeah?
What's up?
What's up? Are you okay? Can I come in? The latch turned and the door slowly creaked open about half an inch. Gerard peeked through the crack, apparently trying to block as much of the room inside as he possibly could. I would love for you to, Hana. I really would, but I'm busy. Busy? Is that why you haven't been around lately? I've been worried about you. Yes? He glanced into his room and then pulled the door a bit closer to him. I've just got this huge school project due soon. Like, so huge. And you didn't even know how huge. It's like crazy, man. I nodded slowly. Yeah, crazy. Yeah, you get it. Like, so big. I'm like, oh man, this is just so big. It's like crazy big. Geez, so much, you know? So, I really can't afford to take time away from it. He glanced into his room again, pulling the door even closer to him. At this point, I could barely make out his eye. He was clearly lying. But even so, he genuinely didn't seem to want me there. I thought of Satch's roundabout warning. Maybe that's what he was talking about. I'm gonna let it go. Let it go. Well, okay, I'll let you get back to it then.
You're the best.
Really? Sweet, thank you, Hana. I knew you'd understand. I smiled half-heartedly.
See you later.
Good luck.
Thanks.
I'll see you around. That's what he said, but it did not see him around. Weeks rolled by, and suddenly the tournament was just a week away, and I practiced my butt off and was ready for it, but even then my mind kept straying to Gerard. What was he doing? Why was he avoiding me? Not angry, Gerard. Look at that face. I don't like it. I just don't know what else to do. I collapsed with a huff onto my bed, wrapping myself up in its sheets. I don't know either, Hana. I hadn't spoken to Gerard in weeks, and neither I nor anyone else knew what he was up to. After class, he went straight to lunch, politely evading all conversation on the way. He grabbed his food and disappeared into his room, not to be seen until seconds before class started up again. No one on me was even partially concerned. That's just the way he is. He'll come back when he's ready. But that wasn't it. That wasn't the whole story. I, of course, was concerned for his well-being. Knowing Gerard, he would push himself to the ends of the earth if it meant completing some project he was working on. But at the same time, he hates me, doesn't he? Mai sat across from me, straddling her desk chair. If he really decided to just up and stop hating you for no reason, then he's not the guy you thought he was, right? But I'm sure he is. He's not the kind of person to shut people out like that. So either I did something wrong or something's wrong with him. Mai, what do I do?
What?
Are you seriously asking me that question? Sure. I mean, I don't exactly have any other leads to go off, and you know way more about guys than I do. Well, you already like Gerard, right? Of course I do. Even if he was doing this because you upset him in some way, and if he is, he's being totally unreasonable, then you'd want to try to fix the situation. Of course, if I did something wrong, I should rectify it. Mai groaned, rubbing her temples. Your thought isn't wrong, but the way you're applying it is. Well, if that's what you want to do, why don't you try doing something to show him how much you care? You always talk about how Gerard's been doing all this stuff for you, so maybe if you do something for him, he'll understand. It's possible he felt like you were taking advantage of his kindness. Do you think? That couldn't really be true. There was no way. Gerard was excruciatingly kind to me, so it made me uncomfortable at times, but I never asked him to be that way. I always tried to let him know I appreciated it. I was even trying to get Princess Pumpernickel for him. Unsuccessfully. What did it matter that I was trying to get the figure if there were no actual results? It wasn't the trying that mattered. If only I could find a way to get Princess Pumpernickel for him, he'd definitely understand how I feel. Do you think? But you've already tried, haven't you? Gerard has half the country on lockdown. If he can't do it, how are you going to? I don't know. But I have to try. I have to do something to show Gerard how I truly feel about him. If after all he still wants nothing to do with me, and he still wants to avoid me, then there's nothing I can do. The question was, how was I going to do it? On my way out of the cafeteria the next day, I was tapped on the shoulder.
Hi.
Jimmy, what's up? Is everything okay? Jimmy shifted his weight almost as if he were dancing. After a second, he returned my gaze. Yeah, everything's fine. Waleed wants to see you for a second. Do you have time to meet with him?
Well,
Class is about to start. Yeah, but it's really important. Okay, if it's really important, then sure. He's waiting for you in front of the club room. Okay. I hesitated. Something about this didn't feel right. Are you sure? You're going to run out of time. Right, sorry. Following Jimmy's advice, I went straight to Poppy Hill, questions swirling in my mind. Jimmy seemed like he was more than just sad. What was going on that he felt so bad? I turned to Poppy and down the halls that led to both the normal boots and hidden block rooms. Waleed was waiting for me in front of the hidden block room, one arm hidden behind his back.
hello.
Waleed, what's up?
Hana!
You came. I'm so glad. I was worried you wouldn't show. Okay, but what's going on? Jimmy said you had something really important to talk with me about. Oh, right. Well, it is really important. It's this. Waleed slid his arm from behind his back. I gasped. In his hand was a crisp, mint-conditioned IPK box, and inside the box, Princess Pumpernickel. She was beautiful. A chocolate brown kitty, long curls of amethyst hair cascaded down her head, a small silver crown with what looked like actual garnets encrusted it. She smiled an almost Cheshire grin as if she knew exactly how much she was worth. How did you... There's no time. I know you've been wanting to help Gerard find this, and here it is. You've been worried about Gerard, haven't you? Waleed, did you give me this just so I could help Gerard up? You're so sweet. Waleed shook his head roughly, his jaw clenching. I want you to drop out of the tournament.
What?
You what? I will give you this if you drop out of the tournament. Waleed's gaze dropped to the floor, no longer able to make eye contact with me. Suddenly, Jimmy's suspicious behavior clicked into place. You're blackmailing me? Look, Gerard is probably never going to see this figure unless you give it to him. If you don't take it back, I'm selling it for profit. I didn't have to buy this stupid thing. Questions of how Waleed managed to afford it rose in my lips and then died a flame. His family could probably afford anything. This is a mutually beneficial agreement. You get what you want, and I get what I want. Everyone's happy in the end, but you have to drop out. If I quit the tournament, I would lose the chance to join the Normal Boots Club. Even more than that, I would probably sentence them to failure. Shane would be right about me. I wasn't sure they'd ever forgive me either. But at the same time, this figure was priceless to Gerard. It would make him so happy, and it was the only way I could truly show him how I felt. Even if only once. Even if the cost of joining the club. I wanted to see Gerard smile like that. Deal. Really? Are you sure? I'm sure. Then let's shake on it. Waleed extended a hand to me. The handshake. Sign of friendship, respect, greeting, admiration even. Truce. I took his hand in mine and gave it a firm shake.
All right.
Here you go. Be careful not to dent the box. You'll destroy its worth. I will. Thanks. No, Hana. Thank you. Waleed disappeared down the hallway, skipping a step. I gazed at the box in my hands. It was made of cardboard and plastic. The figure inside grinned knowingly at me, taunting me. A figure made of plastic and paint. And apparently real garnets. Stupid. Still, I could give it to Gerard now. It was just a matter of finding him. I ran up to my locker as quickly as I could, the box's weight carefully distributed between my fingers. I opened my locker and flung several books from the top shelf, then set the box carefully in their place. Very gently, I shut the door and dashed into class.
You.
Miss Mizuno. I winced as I stepped into the room. Miss Shizuka. Might I have an explanation for your lateness? My eyes darted to PBG, Shane, John. They all gazed at me innocently, completely unaware of how I betrayed them. How in the world was I going to tell them I was quitting the tournament? Miss Mizuno. I don't know. I'm sorry. Of course you don't. People never seem to these days. She snapped her fingers and pointed to my desk. Sit. I scrambled into my chair, trembling slightly. Mai leaned over my shoulder and giggled. Way to go. I sense a rant coming on. It's not my fault.
Men.
Sorry. Men. No, people. People these days don't know how to respect each other's time. You make an agreement to meet in a place, and what do? They make you wait 20 minutes, no phone call, not even a measly text. And if I don't have better things I could be doing than waiting around for you, do they think time comes cheap in this reality? Of course it doesn't. Every second you spend is a second you will never get back. Look at me. She slammed her hands on her desk. Look at me. Heed this. Respect a woman's time. She has very little of it. Miss Shizuka fingered the chalk in her hands. All at once it snapped in two. She cleared her throat and straightened up. Now then, class, about regenerative shields. I want to learn about this. She's crazy. Don't say that. She's having a hard time. Do you even know how old she is? Isn't she like 25? That's what she'd like you to think. It must be hard when you feel like you're getting older. Miss Shizuka shot a glare in our direction and we silenced. There was only one thing left for me to do, and I spent the entire rest of the class dreading it. No matter how I tried to spin it in my mind, this was a conversation that wouldn't have a positive end. There was no way to make it not hurt. I wanted to find a way at least to make it hurt less. But what in the world was I supposed to do? Instead, an impending sense of dread settled over me. The class's lights were too bright, the room too stuffy. Everyone seemed happy and carefree, like they were somewhere else, or they were from a different planet. Oh. I nibbled the eraser of my pencil until it disappeared. And then it was time. Hey guys, can I talk to you about something?
What's up?
Sure, what's up, Hana? There was no good way to say this. I had to rip off the band-aid. I'm not going to compete in the tournament. What? Why the hell not? We only have a week left. What are you doing? Why are you doing this now? Couldn't you have told us sooner? Why are you leaving? I can't say why. You can't say why? You've got to be kidding me. I'm really, really, really sorry. My God, she's serious.
No.
I don't want to hear it, Hana. I really don't. Just go. I nodded and turned away, shoulders hunched. This wasn't what I wanted. But it was worth it if I could give Gerard Princess Pumpernickel. I had to keep thinking of Gerard. I shut the door behind me, blinking tears from my eyes. There it was. The hardest part was over. I opened my locker and pulled out Princess Pumpernickel, staring at her plump features and increasingly sadistic smile. No, she was worth it. She was worth this. Sometimes people had to make sacrifices for the people they loved. That was just the way the world worked. Right now, Gerard's dream was more important than some stupid tournament or joining some stupid club. Gerard's dream and happiness were more important to me than... Than what? Than my own? No, that was silly. Anyways, the decision was already made. There was no point about wondering to this. I wanted to get straight to Gerard's room and try to give him Princess Pumpernickel, but as far as I knew, Shane would also be there. There was no way I was going to risk running into Shane, not after what I just told him. Instead, I headed straight for the dorms. I could give Gerard the figure next day during lunch, and it'd be no worse for wear. Besides, with the mood I was in, I could literally just drag Gerard's house now. Every minute I had Princess Pumpernickel out in the open was a moment of buzzing anxiety. I ran up the stairs as quickly as I could, holding the box to my fingertips so my sweaty palms wouldn't damage the sides. To my great surprise, I made it to my room without incident. In fact, nobody was even around to make a mess of things. I pulled out my keys and opened the door in the silence of the hall. Yay! I made it! Thank goodness. Ma wasn't around, so I sent Princess Pumpernickel on my desk and quickly took off my bag and jacket. She was probably at practice or something. With my arms free, I stood in the middle of my room and spun around. There had to be a good place to put Princess Pumpernickel. Where she wouldn't be in danger is Mai's tendency to flip her hair immediately after washing it, or Mai's inability to eat ramen without spraying detriment everywhere. A shelf built into the wall above my desk caught my eye. Perfect. I pulled out my desk chair and very carefully removed a statue of a waving cat and a blossom-shaped incense burner from the top. Then, just as carefully, I grabbed Princess Pumpernickel and placed her in the center of the shelf. There. That wasn't too eye-catching, right? Mai wouldn't notice her? I leaned back, squinting. But as I did, something caught the edge of my sleeve. My arm was caught in front of me, and in an effort not to lose my balance, I swung it backwards, arm pillowing in the air. Then it happened. As I pulled my sleeve away from the shelf, the nail that it was caught on came with it. The shelf tilted slightly to the side, then the left half swung towards the floor. The objects tumbled from the sky in slow motion. My arm, still attempting to catch my balance, didn't respond quick enough. I grabbed for Princess Pumpernickel, but ended up grabbing a small plastic frog in my hand. No. I stumbled off the chair to the broken, shattered mess of what was originally some of my most priceless decorations. Princess Pumpernickel was safely contained in her box. A jolt of hope shot through me as I lifted her up. The edges were dented, the plastic scuffed sure, but the box was replaceable. As long as Pumpernickel herself... No. A small hairline fracture ran across her neck. I gently shook the box and her head slid across her body. Princess Pumpernickel was decapitated. I set the box gingerly back on the ground. Laughter bubbled up in the back of my throat, but what came out was more of a strangled sob. This one thing. I just wanted to do this one thing. I grabbed a pillow and flung it across the room, not sure whether I wanted to curl up in a ball and cry or go beat the crap out of something. I couldn't do anything right.
Hana.
Hana, are you in there? Gerard, is that you? Are you okay? I attempted to muffle my sobs, wiping my face clear of tears, and stood to get the door. Wait, Princess Pumpernickel, what would I do if I saw I destroyed her? One of 3 copies in the world, he'd never forgive me. Hang on. I dragged out all the debris from my collapsed shelf into a pile, then glanced around for a place to put it.
Hana.
Hana, what's going on? He seemed really frantic, but why? I couldn't put the stuff in the trash without leaving scraps behind, nor could I push it under my bed. Finally, I grabbed a blanket and tossed it over the pile, poking at it until it looked like it was maybe some kind of quirky decoration.
Hey, Hana.
Hana, please, I just want to talk to you. I'm worried. He was worried about me? The thought was so funny, I almost started to laugh. For some reason, when I cried, I was so much more likely to laugh. I cleared my throat and looked into my mirror. My eyes were only slightly pink, my nose running just a little. He wouldn't notice, right?
Hana.
Hana. I'm coming. I grabbed a tissue and blew my nose, then finally opened the door slightly. Just enough to see Gerard, and so he couldn't see much of me.
What's going on?
Hana, what's going on? What are you talking about? Why are you here all of a sudden? Why are you quitting the tournament all of a sudden? Shock went like a jolt through my spine. Of course, I should have guessed. Shane lived with Gerard, and he pretty much also hated me. It wouldn't take a brain surgeon to realize one of the first people he would tell was Gerard. Well, about that, I had to come up with some story. I hadn't had time to come up with a story either. My graze dropped to the floor just as I tried to come up with something, and Gerard made a face. You don't want to tell me the truth? No, it's not that. It's just that I need... I glanced inside my room and glazed Vanny on Mr. Bunny. To go home. Hana. Is it that apparent? You're a terrible liar. Can I come in? I guess. I stepped back and let Gerard into the room, my mind still spinning for some kind of explanation. Nothing. There was nothing to explain my sudden change of heart. Biting my lip, I changed tactics. Where have you been for so long?
Huh?
What are you talking about? I haven't been around for lunch or class or anything. Seems like you've been upset about something.
No way.
No, I'm not upset. Of course I'm not upset. He seemed genuinely surprised that I reached this conclusion. So surprised that it almost made me angry. Really? Really? Because you've been ignoring me as if you were upset. It's not surprising I reached that conclusion.
Hana.
Hana, is that why you decided to leave the tournament? You thought I didn't want you on the team? That's not it at all. No. No, of course that's not why. What kind of worrywart do you take me for? You're not a worrywart? I mean... Gerard scanned my room. Suddenly, I realized it was his first time here. I stifled the urge to smooth up my bed and hide the papers left on my desk. Doing something like that would only draw attention to the fact that I had something to hide. Hana, your shelf is broken. Do you need help fixing it? He pointed to the shelf above my desk, which still hung vertically following the destruction it wrought. No, that's fine. I crossed to my desk, trying to block the view of the broken shelf in my tiny frame. Gerard's eyes traveled from the shelf to me to the blanketed pile next to my feet. What's that? Immediately, tears prickled my eyes. Nothing. It's nothing. Nothing, but you seem really sad about it. Are you sure I can't help? Gerard was staring at me with large puppy dog eyes, all sincerity and compassion. I slid to the floor, the energy draining from me. I was just trying to help you find Princess Pumpernickel, Baba. I pulled the blanket off the pile, grabbing the box from the top. I decapitated her and ruined it, and now you're going to be so mad at me, and I promised we'll be in the tournament in exchange, and now it's all ruined. All the stress of the day finally caught up with me, and I started sobbing there right on the floor. I didn't want to see his face. I didn't want to see him, but Gerard pulled me into a gentle hug. Hana, it's all right. You don't have to feel bad. You promised to quit the tournament just to get me Princess Pumpernickel? I think that's the nicest thing anyone has ever done for me.
Really?
It is? Of course it is. It makes me kind of happy that you go so far for me, but you definitely shouldn't ever go so far for me. It's not worth giving up your dreams. I just wanted to repay you because you're always taking care of me and doing things for me, and I don't deserve it at all.
Whoa, what?
Whoa. Who said you don't deserve it? Why don't you deserve it? Memories from the past year trickled into my mind. I was cold. I was cruel. I was completely despondent. I was somebody I was ashamed of being. I'm not a good person. Gerard let out a hearty laugh, his shoulders shaking against me and jostling my head. You're not a good person? Would a bad person try so hard to get me the figure? Or to help her team win the tournament? Would a bad person have so many people around her who cared for her? Would a bad person let my drool all over her so she wouldn't wake up? You're kind of silly, Hana. Maybe. I wasn't completely convinced. Compared to Gerard, I was the Scrooge.
I promise.
I wouldn't be doing so much for you if I thought you were a bad person, Hana. I wouldn't like you so much if I thought you were a bad person. Gerard! Gerard leaned over and picked up Princess Pumpernickel from the floor, examining the box and figure with a collector's critical eye. And that's where we're going to end this episode. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you like what you see, please leave a like, comment down below, and I will see you in the next episode. Bye!